Trade talks between the U.S. and China appear to be making some progress, potentially ending a bitter trade war between the world's two largest economies.
All right, well, let's bring in foreign policy expert Michael Szanto right now. Michael, good morning. You say that you're optimistic that the U.S. and China can reach a deal, and we should say, based on the reporting we're getting this morning, that the president may be announcing the summit. Seems like we could be at the end of the game here.
I think it's very possible because the trade relationship between China and the United States is very important to both parties. So there's a lot of incentive for China and the United States to reach an agreement here.
Well, what is that agreement going to look like, though? Because a lot of industry experts are still nervous that this agreement, although it'll be signed on paper, won't be enough to encourage the Chinese to actually enforce the idea of whether it's intellectual property theft, forced shared technology with Chinese companies. And there's concerns about the agricultural buying that the Chinese may do because they're going to be in control. Could this potentially give China too much control?
Well, I mean, it could, but we should have control here because we have quite significantly the largest economy in the world. And when you look per capita sense, we're still a much, much wealthier country than China. So they need access to our markets more than vice versa. We do profit a lot from a trade relationship, but they really need us more than we need them. But we don't want an adversarial relationship with China, especially with worsening relations with Russia.
Well, what I found, though, interesting, though, is that we've seen kind of a pickup in U.S. and Chinese manufacturing data. And when you look at something like that, which would be surprising considering the relationship right now, and there are some tariffs in place, the only slowdown seems to be in Europe from an economic perspective. Does that mean that maybe the pressure is kind of off of the Chinese a little bit because they're showing strength in their economy?
I mean, there is pressure here, but what I also worry about is throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want to harm the relationship to the extent that it harms our economy, their economy, or the global economy. And we really, really want China eventually to be a very capitalist, prosperous society, because then they can better afford to buy American goods. And we want them to not see us as an enemy. We want them to see us as a partner rather than an enemy. So we just have to try to balance things. Intellectual property is a very real issue. They've been cheating. We need to punish them for that, but we don't want to destroy the trade relationship at the same time.
Yeah, there's a long leash we might be giving them here, 2025. That's quite a ways away. Michael, thank you very much for being here this early. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.